The world order, and a leading expert on fascism has fled the country because he says he knows what is coming. All of that and more on today's show. All right, I have footage for you today that is stunning. Our friends Jesse Dollimore and Brittany Page were on the ground in Minneapolis. Now, if you haven't seen Jesse's coverage, he's got a lot of it on his channel, interviews, discussions, all sorts of incredible video. I'm going to play a couple of things for you here. And Jesse really lets ICE have it. The stuff that Jesse and Brittany captured on video is shocking, stunning, and quite frankly, extraordinarily depressing for what it means about where the country is at this point in time. Here is just to give you a sense of the scene, video of, you know what, how can I describe it? A woman getting manhandled by ICE authorities. Take a look at this. Complete and total chaos. Protesters were taken into custody, walked away, and just general chaos absolutely everywhere. Now then Jesse started getting himself wound up, and you know when Jesse gets wound up, things can get very, very crazy. This was, I mean, listen, I'll just play it for you, and you'll hear the things that he's saying, and it gets extremely chaotic. You will notice here at a certain point that the camera starts focusing on a woman in a wheelchair who has been hit by some kind of spray or gas and is not being particularly well.
What about him? He's okay, but we're not. Masked Nazi fucks.
That is Jesse right there.
Cowards, too ashamed of what you do to show your face. You little bitch. Half-pint bitches. Half-pint little cowards. Look at this. Pump your arms out so you look like a real man. Little guy. You're just a little guy. Do you feel tough?
Jesse is really taunting these people. They're, you know, what we're seeing, the video is absolutely dystopian. You know, when people are covering up after some kind of spray or gas, sirens are going off, and they look like stormtroopers are standing around. And meanwhile, our friend Jesse is there calling them half-pint bitches or whatever he's calling. We can do two things at once. We can recognize the inhumanity of this, and also acknowledge the borderline satirical presence of Jesse ridiculing in a serious manner these individuals.
Does it make you feel tough when you're bear spraying, pussy? You do feel tough? You shouldn't. You should be embarrassed. Wow.
And I have one more video for you here. Again, just Jesse going full on. He's on the ground there. I mean, good for him.
Trump is going to be around forever, and you will be held accountable. You're criminals. Doing this under the auspices of Trump's authority is not. You will be held accountable. Your smug, unearned arrogance will be rewarded with fucking prosecutions, cowards. Keep staring, little guy.
What's this one?
Fucking
What's
weakling.
this one? He gets some treatment? Nazis get special treatment?
All right, well, listen, you get the sense of it. Totally and completely dystopian. Now, one of the things that I think we have to acknowledge is that in the aftermath of the killing of Renee Good, it doesn't seem as though the mood among ICE is, oh, we got to be careful because there could be real consequences to what we do here. In fact, it seems the opposite. It seems that they are even more emboldened. Now, Jonathan Ross, the specific guy who committed that shooting and killed Renee Good, he's reportedly in hiding. He doesn't want to show his face, and I probably makes sense. I think he would be in danger, given that the country, by and large, is disgusted with his behavior. But for the agents that are out there, they actually seem emboldened and sort of condescendingly looking down at those who are saying, hey, this is wrong and this is messed up. So we should understand if that indeed is the attitude at this point, which seems to be from the footage that Jesse and Brittany got for us. They didn't get it for us. They were there on their own, but Jesse was nice enough to share the video with us. They seem even more emboldened. And so everybody needs to make their decision as to whether they're going to go out there and protest or not. But do it knowing, with the awareness, that they seem to be going further since the killing of Renee, not being more careful. Maria Bartiromo interviewed Republican Congressman Garbarino, and the question was, what about Trump instituting the Insurrection Act? Now, we spoke yesterday on the show about what seems to be a calibrated idea of instigating in Minneapolis, using the chaos that ICE agents caused to invoke the Insurrection Act, with maybe at the end of this saying, we can't have a midterm election in the middle of all this, actually. Garbarino was asked, should Trump do it? And his answer, not exactly definitive. Let me put it that way.
The president just tweeted about this. He posted on Truth Social. Bottom line, do you want President Trump to institute the Insurrection Act, where he goes above what the governor says because the governor is not doing his job?
I think that should be the last thing that we do. We should try to get these governors to realize what they're doing is wrong. Unfortunately, a lot of them are playing political games and putting our law enforcement officers' lives at risk. They need to change that, and hopefully our investigation here in Congress, our movements, what we're doing, and finding out whether or not they are actually telling the police not to help. You know, if we get that answer and they are doing that, maybe the only thing they can do is the Insurrection Act. But hopefully that's not the case.
Not exactly a profile.
Having troops on the ground is not the best thing to do. It might be the last. It might be the last thing to do. But I would like to see everything else tried first.
All right. He needs a little bit of media training and preparation, a little bit mush mouth, a little bit all over the place. But he sort of seems to be saying it would be regrettable. But Trump may have no choice but to invoke the Insurrection Act. Of course, then we would say, well, how did he get into the situation where Trump has no choice? Well, because he started it taking absolutely absurd deportation programs, raids, and deployments of ICE to cities like Minneapolis. But he might have, it's the last choice. It's a last resort, but we might absolutely have to do it. He then goes on to say, you know, if people just listen to law enforcement, we wouldn't have a lot of them.
And what really bothers me is how comfortable people in this country have become to not listen to law enforcement. When a cop tells me not to do something, I don't do it. That should be the normal. That should be the normal way things go when police officers talk to you. But the rhetoric on the other side, a lot of Democrats, especially the governor and the mayor over there in Minnesota, they're ramping up the rhetoric. They're telling people to get in their face, and that's just going to cause more problems.
You know, it's very easy to say, if you just do what law enforcement says, then you're going to be good. The problem is, what about when law enforcement tells you things that are not lawful order? When law enforcement says you're not allowed to record, and we all know at this point that we are allowed to. Garbarino would go, just do what they say, even if it's not constitutional, even if it's not a lawful order, because we're allowed to record. But if you do what Garbarino says, then you won't have a problem. Just give up all of your rights. You would think, you know, there's these First Amendment auditors out there. They're typically right-leaning, and basically they like to instigate. It's entertaining. I acknowledge it's entertaining, but what they'll do is they'll take you. They'll put a camera. Let me see if I can replicate this here. They'll put their camera, you know, they put their phone. They fill up places, very conspicuous buildings. Like if I went to, you know, people who were dining out on the sidewalk at some restaurant, and I just go and I stand there and I'm recording. And the whole point of it is to get someone to come out and go, sir, you can't film here. Do you have a permit to film here? And then they go, I don't need a permit to film here. And then they go, well, we're going to call the cops. They go, we'll call the cops. And the cops show up, and the cops explain to the restaurant, they're on the sidewalk. It's what they can do on the sidewalk. They're allowed to film like this. They're allowed to do it. I find it entertaining, but kind of stupid. But these are mostly right-leaning people who seem to understand the purpose and the value of not giving up rights just because someone unlawfully tells you to give up a right. And so you would think that these right-wingers, who I think are pretty sympathetic to the First Amendment auditors, you would think that they could be going, hey, listen, whatever reason someone has for filming what I see, as long as you're not impeding what they're doing, right? If you're just standing on the sidewalk filming, of course you're legally allowed to do that. And just saying if the cop says don't do it, you're relinquishing a right for no reason that is described in the law or the Constitution. But Garbarino would go, just do what police tell you and you're not going to have a problem. Well, they're coming down and telling people they are not allowed to do things that they are indeed allowed to do. Anyway, this guy's pathetic, not a profile, encourage. And unfortunately, this is the sort of thing, listen, none of us want the Insurrection Act, but Trump may have no choice. He may simply have to do it. I hope that we're ready for the day that Trump does invoke the Insurrection Act, because we might need to be. Every January feels like a reset, new calendar, the idea that this could finally be the year you do that thing you want to do. Starting a business doesn't have to be perfection. It's about taking that first step before the month slips away. Shopify and a lot of that don't. They are states of, even when people are trying to manage it responsibly. High interest rates, constant fees, compounding balances, this can all turn credit cards, personal loans, and medical bills into something much more difficult to escape. And the longer it drags on, the more expensive it becomes. That's why I want to tell you about our sponsor, PDS Debt. PDS Debt helps people with unsecured debt by creating a personalized plan based on their real financial situation. There's not a minimum credit score required. They just focus on reducing what you owe, paying it off faster, and stopping the waste of money on interest and fees. They are A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They have thousands of 5-star reviews and have already helped hundreds of thousands of people get out of debt. Every month you wait costs money. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is right now. So don't wait another month. Take back control in 30 seconds. Get your free personalized assessment at pdsdebt.com/Pacman. The link is in the description. The David Pakman Show continues to be funded primarily by our audience through the membership program. You can read about it and sign up at joinpakman.com. Tuesday, we're doing a one-day membership drive, sort of commemorating. It's not really celebrating, it's commemorating, I guess we would say. 1 year of Trump's second term, meaning 3 years to go. We're doing a huge membership discount. I believe this is going to be the most important year for independent media in terms of the role that we will play in the midterms. Would love to have your support today or Tuesday. If you want to be notified about Tuesday's membership special, just get on my newsletter at substack.davidpakman.com, or you can email me, info@davidpakman.com, and I will get you on the newsletter. A major European columnist is openly arguing Europe should start preparing to separate itself from the United States because of Donald Trump. Not it should be preparing to manage Trump. Not Europe needs to know how to work around Trump, but simply distance from the United States altogether. Now, I know that a lot of the MAGAs love to go, we don't give a shit what Europe thinks. These sissy Europeans with their espresso and bud, we don't care. Okay, well, listen, most of the world does care. And the fact that this is what is now openly being argued should really get your attention. And the argument is very simple, and it's a devastating argument. Europe is watching Trump flirt with authoritarianism, territorial conquest, including Greenland and other places, and watching Trump's open contempt for democratic norms. And they are rightly asking, is the United States still a reliable democratic partner at all? It's not a theoretical question. It's right now, under Trump, is the United States a reliable democratic partner? Trump has not only talked about taking Greenland one way or another, he has sent military into Venezuela and kidnapped the president there with no authorization. Trump's allies are openly hostile to liberal democracy, to international institutions. We don't know if Trump would actually allow the United States to meet its requirements under NATO shared defense if another NATO nation were to be attacked. He's kind of been like, yeah, maybe some of them got to pay more, though. I'm not really sure.